got to the final, but was disqualified because he wasn't using any real instruments or singing or anything.
Disqualified?
Yeah, I think so. I think that's the story.
That sounds like the most unique thing that was happening in the battle, surely. That he was neither using instruments or singing.
Yeah, I know.
Surely he should have won.
That's what I thought. But then I think he sort of wanted to kind of be in a band where no one could say that about him, because I'd be there. And I was really interested in like just pop songs in general by then. I really wanted to like be in a pop band. And
so the band that started up, you were recruited as the singer,
well, it was
lyricist, or you were...
That's just what I decided to do. And I felt like, well, I could sing, because I was writing my own little songs on like guitar and ukulele at this point. So I thought, well, I can sing and write. We could do this.
Multi-talented.
Something like that.
Yeah. So you got together, and I mean, how does one write for a Gameboy?
So it's not a collaborative process at all in the way that we would sit in a room and write songs together. It'd be very much more like Craig would write something that was more poppy than the sort of... He would write sort of like very sad, dark soundscapes. That's his style. But then he would send something over that he thought was more poppy. And then I would sit with that recording and just try and sing alone to myself in my room, trying to think of something that would go along with it.
Right.
Which is quite hard sometimes, because he really likes to fill up all of the possible space that he's got with all these different sounds. So trying to find a melody that cuts through that as a vocal melody was quite a big challenge, but I really enjoyed it. But yeah, it would just be me sitting in my bedroom, writing things down, and kind of going, just trying to find with like listening and singing at the same time if anything worked.
Right, okay. In terms of I suppose not most, but a lot of people write by sort of humming or, making words that are not real words.
Yeah.
making the space for the word and filling the word in. and that's fine. But you've still got to find the words and I suppose the subject matter of the song. So how were you approaching that? How were you just straight, whatever happened to come out your head was what it was, or?
Kind of, yeah. And I would feel like the songs that Craig sent me would have like a personality to them as well. So I think the first one that I ever wrote was the one that's called Sad Dance Party, which is one that we usually close all of our gigs with. Because it was kind of the first one we ever performed. Because we used to do a lot of covers, and that was a good way to practice as well.
Okay.
How to get the voice along with the Gameboy.
So you could do covers on the Gameboy?
Oh yeah.
Right, okay.
Craig does it by ear, it's crazy. He knows nothing about music. He couldn't tell you the same as I what a chord was or anything, but he just sits obsessively and will go like, well, that sounds the same, here's the drum thing that I think is going on. And it comes out sounding really good.
Right, so he's generating the music for that cover and then you're coming along and learning the words and singing over it.
Yeah, so writing the lyrics, I don't know, it was very much sort of, as I said, like a teenage diary. I thought I'd just sing like my feelings and then we'd get them out. Yeah, we talked about it a lot. We wanted to be something that people could dance to and just feel like open around.
Had a manifesto.
Yeah, a little bit.
Okay, which is a good idea.
Yeah.
That's a good word as well. So, I liked the music instantly, I have to say. As soon as I heard it, I thought this is interesting, it's new. And it appealed to me, and definitely one of the things that appealed to me was your lyrics. But instantly there's something about the lyrics that appealed to me. Which is kind of weird because at that point I had no idea that was kind of something that you were heavily into, probably as in an academic way, I'm not really thinking about it because it sounded quite stream of consciousness, whatever the word is, stream of consciousness or stream of conscious. But it's interesting that you said right at the start that you were interested in the drums.
Yeah, I was.
Because they're very, very rhythmic, which is something I noticed as well. They're very kind of, I don't know how to describe it, but they're like a beat in itself, the way you're singing the lyrics.
Yeah.
Yeah. Much more than a lot of people, I would think. Much more staccato and kind of beat-like.
Yeah.
Although that could be a function of the type of music, I don't know.
Well, it is hard to write. I've been trying more to write something a bit less like that, but I do think it kind of suits. I've not got a strong voice, so I think it suits my voice as well to kind of go for a more staccato approach.
Right.
But I also think that is just the way I write. There's like always like a kind of hidden rhythm going on. Whether you notice it or not, it's just something that I like to put in there.
And also, it's a bit like, I mean, I've written some things in the past that were almost exercises in putting a word in every beat. And quite a lot of words, one after the other, with no breath involved. There's quite a bit of that, and it's kind of big long strings of words.
Yeah, you talk about the Puberty Boys song.
It could be, because I've listened to it earlier on, and then that's when it occurred to me, it's this big long strings of words.
Yeah.
And a long time before there's a kind of chorus-like thing, and then another big long string of words.
That is partly the way that Craig writes the music.
Right.
I mean, I feel like it's got to be filled with something, and then I feel like I've finished writing, and then I'm like, oh God, there's about 2 minutes before the chorus comes in. Half of that's out of my control. But I do enjoy half of it as well. I mean, I quite like getting up there and just sort of...
Well, it's like a torrent of words, almost, the way some of it, I can't think of any particular one in my head right now, but I can remember the kind of rhythm of it and the kind of, sort of...
Yeah.
Which is unusual, I would say. Clearly you're in it and you're just doing what you're doing. But from an outsider who's listened to an awful lot of music, it sounds unusual to me as a style, as a kind of way of singing, to have such a kind of rat-a-tat for quite a long period of time with all these words, almost in every beat is a syllable sort of thing.
Yeah.
Quite unusual.
As long as it doesn't get boring.
No, it's not boring at all, because each one is a kind of stream of conscious story almost, or describing a situation. The one in my head about you're talking about somebody else. What was that?
Oh, like the hot broadcaster one, maybe. That can be quite like that. That's more of a story.
Right, yeah.
Although there's nothing to listen to. So.
Yeah. But unusual, as I say, and right away I noticed the words and the facility with words, I suppose. Although again, your choice of what is the sort of words that would be in a song is very different.
I do think I'm definitely adopting a persona whenever I come to write these songs, because that's also how we perform them as well. We sort of have larger than life versions of ourselves out there, because we both are, I think, quite natural performers, but kind of, I don't know, maybe something you wouldn't expect from us talking to us, but then I think when we come on stage we both just love it so much.
Yeah. No, of course I've seen it. Yeah, absolutely. And there's a bit of a kind of beat poet type thing in that kind of rhythmic, 1950s kind of beat poetry, where some person would be standing with a saxophone, the other person would be doing that kind of Alan, whatever his name is? Ginsberg, which is declamatory.
Yeah.
There's a bit of that about it, I would say. I don't know whether you're influenced by any of that kind of stuff. Probably not. I would imagine it not be your thing. But is the words and the way you're doing it influenced by a particular school of poetry or a particular other artists, or?
I'm not sure. I do try and maybe I do emulate sort of what I'm listening to at the moment sometimes, but it always comes through kind of garbled. I don't know. Yeah, I just try and write to fit the songs. I did steal a James Joyce line from Portrait of the Artist as a Young Man in one of my songs. I kind of like the idea of doing that, just sneaking like a line from someone else in there, which I do sometimes.
Knowingly? Knowingly, as they say?
Yeah, knowingly. That's in the chorus of that I Ride My Bike in the Summer song. it goes, a day of dappled seaborne clouds, and that's a line I stole from Joyce.
Ah,
but it sounds very good when I say it.
Yeah.
And then
Not so good when he writes it, but when you say it.
No, it's just as good when he writes it, for sure.
It never really came alive until I put it in that song. And then I could see the value of it. Prior to that.
Joyce, who's heard of that guy?
that's right, exactly. I mean, it was never written any. I had to bring the light to him. Nobody else would ever read any of his stuff otherwise.
Yeah. But yeah, no, don't follow a particular skill unless, I don't know, I think it's just, I'm really just writing what I think a pop song is in my head, which is maybe not what everyone else thinks a pop song is.
Well, I don't know. I mean, I think it did remind me of some kind of more modern indie pop artists, particularly female, not so many males, but there are some female pop artists out there who are playing pop music, keyboard driven or synthesizer stroke keyboard driven, but very kind of conversational sort of.
Yeah, so
you know.
Are you thinking of Courtney Barnett?
Yeah, that's one of them.
Yeah, I like Courtney Barnett.
You know, kind of distantly related in some sense, just by the way she's using language.
Yeah, she's very stream of consciousness.
Yeah.
I like that a lot.
Yeah, so I like her. And there are other artists. Caroline. God. No, it's not very, name's not going to come to me. Just folk that are kind of, as I say, got a particular perspective, which is, I mean, this I suppose is a question, is what you're doing a female perspective? Or is it just...
I guess in sort of, as much as it comes from my point of view, is a female perspective. And I think with some songs, I kind of play with that, for sure. But really it's just, I want it to be a lot more universal than that. I kind of just want to poke at people's like weird, angsty, embarrassing feelings, if I can, if anyone's listening to the lyrics. I think the performance does that as well, invites people to sort of kind of be embarrassed. Yeah. I'm really interested in this, like the idea of embarrassment. My old tutor, Colin Hurd, really talks about it a lot as well. He thinks it's very funny, just what embarrassment is, how you can share in it. It's like this thing that we all hate, but it's also like almost an enjoyable experience. So intense.
That's interesting because that's the sort of thing that comedians sort of, dabble, that's the wrong word, but sort of revel in and try and make capital out of.
Yeah, and then so Craig's other job on the side of being in King Wine is he is a stand-up comedian, so I think we both do have an interest in that as well.
Right, okay, that's interesting. So that connection there. I mean, I suppose I hadn't really thought about it like that. I mean, I can certainly see in the lyrics and there's kind of idea of uncovering people's discomfort about things.
Mostly my own discomfort, though. I have to say that I'm mostly expressing a lot of my own discomfort and kind of bad feelings and kind of